The Grand Haven bustled with its usual evening rhythm. Businessmen typed away on laptops, families wheeled luggage toward weekend getaways, and staff moved briskly behind the front desk. Jonathan Reed, the hotel manager, stood tall in his crisp navy suit, scanning the lobby with his usual precision. A perfectionist by nature, he was known for treating every guest with the same calm courtesy, whether they were a tired commuter or an international figure. But nothing could have prepared him for what happened next. The revolving doors turned, and in walked Donald Trump, the sitting president of the United States, with his wife Melania at his side. The lobby froze. Conversations stopped mid-sentence, luggage carts halted mid-roll, and even the soft piano music seemed to falter. Jonathan's breath caught. This wasn't just a distinguished guest. This was the most powerful man in the country. Yet strangely, the couple didn't arrive in a wave of spectacle. No flashing cameras, no endless entourage, just quiet dignity. Secret Service agents lingered nearby, but the Trumps themselves carried only a small suitcase. Melania offered a warm smile to a little girl clutching a teddy bear. Trump gave a respectful nod to an elderly veteran in a wheelchair. Jonathan felt an unexpected rush of emotions: respect, pressure, confusion. Why here? Why now? The Grand Haven wasn't a luxury palace. It was a modest, family-run hotel. Forcing composure, he stepped forward. "Good evening, Mr. President. Mrs. Trump, welcome to the Grand Haven Hotel. How may we assist you tonight?" Trump leaned closer, his voice quiet. "We'd like a room, just for one night, nothing fancy." Jonathan blinked. "Sir, with respect, there are far more luxurious hotels nearby. May I ask why here?" Trump smiled faintly. "Because we heard this place treats everyone like family. Sometimes that matters more than chandeliers and marble floors." Melania's hand rested gently on the counter. "We don't want a spectacle, just a quiet evening like anyone else." Whispers swirled through the lobby as phones appeared, guests trying to capture the moment. The Secret Service intervened discreetly, but curiosity hung thick in the air. Trump's gaze met Jonathan's, steady but tired. "We're not here as politicians," he said softly. "We're here as people, just for peace." Jonathan hesitated. The hotel wasn't built for presidents, not with all the security demands such a visit carried. But something in Trump's tone was disarmingly human, almost vulnerable. Finally, Jonathan nodded. "Of course, sir. I'll make the arrangements immediately." As the couple disappeared down the hallway with their keys, the lobby erupted in hushed speculation. Why would the president stay here? A businessman muttered. "Publicity stunt, someone else guessed. Or maybe he's hiding something," whispered a skeptical woman. Jonathan ignored the noise. His instincts told him this wasn't about politics or cameras. This was something personal. Later that night, sitting in his office, he replayed the moment over and over. Why his hotel? Why such deliberate simplicity? He thought of his late father, a Vietnam veteran who often told him, "Greatness isn't in power, son. It's in how you treat people when no one's watching." That was it. That was why they came. To be unseen, to be human, to be treated not as figures, but as people. The next morning proved it. Jonathan entered the dining area to find Trump seated. In the corner, with a folded newspaper, Melania quietly stirring her tea. Guests watched, but hesitated. Then a boy, no more than 6, shuffled forward holding a crayon drawing of the American flag. "Sir," he said shyly, "I made this in school." Trump lowered his paper, studied the boy, then smiled. "That's beautiful. You know what makes America strong? Kids like you who believe in it." He signed the drawing, ruffled the boy's hair, and handed it back. The mother, teary-eyed, whispered a quiet thank you. Raider Rosa, a longtime housekeeper, pulled Jonathan aside, her hands trembling. "He spoke to me," she said breathlessly. "Mr. Trump?" Jonathan asked. She nodded. "I was refreshing their room. He asked my name. I told him, 'Rosa?' He said, 'Rosa, you remind me of the women who built this country, hard-working, unseen, the backbone of everything.'" Her eyes shone. "No one has ever said that to me before." Jonathan placed a hand on her shoulder. "That's why they're here, Rosa, to be with real people." And in that moment, Jonathan finally understood. The mystery only deepened. Why did they crave these human moments so desperately? What, exactly, were they searching for? By evening, Rain lashed the city. Thunder rolled, and the streets emptied. But inside the Grand Haven, warmth lingered. Families gathered by the fireplace. With board games, travelers sipped cocoa, and the atmosphere hummed with quiet comfort. Then the Trumps appeared, again walking slowly, hand in hand. No speeches, no cameras, just a couple moving through the lobby like ordinary guests. Conversations hushed as they passed. Trump stopped suddenly. In the far corner sat an elderly man. In a frayed military jacket, his medals clinking softly as he shifted in his chair, staring out at the storm. "Mind if I sit?" Trump asked. The man blinked, startled. "You're the president. You don't sit with people like me." Trump shook his head gently. "I sit with Americans. That includes you." Jonathan watched from across the lobby as the two men began talking quietly. The veteran's name was Harold Green Korea and Vietnam, decades of service etched into his weathered frame. For years, Harold had felt invisible. But that night, the president listened. Truly listened. Harold spoke of sacrifice, of regrets, of loneliness since losing his wife. Melania joined them, laying a gentle hand on Harold's shoulder. "You are not forgotten," she whispered. Tears streaked down Harold's face. "For years, I thought no one cared. Maybe tonight I was wrong." Guests tried to pretend they weren't listening, but the emotion was too heavy to ignore. Jonathan realized, in that moment, why they had come. Not for luxury, not for privacy, but to connect with people whose stories the world had stopped hearing. The next morning, Jonathan gathered his staff. Many were still on edge about hosting the president. "Listen," he said firmly. "He doesn't want special treatment. He came here to experience something real. That means we treat him like any other guest. No more, no less." Maria raised her hand nervously. "But, sir, what if something goes wrong? What if people flood in when they find out?" Jonathan nodded. "Then we'll handle it with dignity, the same way we handle everything else." Uncertainty rippled through the team, but Jonathan's conviction steadied them. None of them knew the true test was about to arrive. By afternoon, word had leaked. Crowds swelled outside the hotel, supporters cheering, protesters shouting, reporters thrusting microphones. Inside, tension spread like static. Guests whispered, staff worried. Jonathan's worst fear had come true. He rushed to the Trump suite and knocked. Trump opened the door himself. "Sir," Jonathan said carefully, "the press has found you. The crowd is growing." Trump glanced at Melania, then back at Jonathan. His tone softened. "Don't worry, we'll handle it. But I need your help. Keep the people inside calm. Remind them this is their hotel, no matter what happens out there." Jonathan's chest tightened, but he nodded. "Anything." The lobby buzzed with unease until Trump and Melania descended the staircase. The room fell silent. Trump raised a hand. "I know some of you are concerned, but let me say this. We didn't come here as politicians. We came as people. This hotel reminded us of what matters most. Family, kindness, respect." Melania's voice was gentle but steady. "This place feels like home, and sometimes even leaders need home." The tension broke. Applause spread, not for politics, but for sincerity. Jonathan stood in the back, pride swelling. The Grand Haven had become a stage, not for power, but for humanity. That night, Jonathan lay awake, memories of his late father and mother flooding back, his father's service, his mother's quiet resilience. Their lessons of humility and dignity echoed in Trump's words. For the first time in years, Jonathan felt his father's presence beside him. Greatness isn't how you treat people. And finally, Jonathan understood. On his late rounds, he found a teenager near the vending machines, nervously clutching a notepad. "You okay?" Jonathan asked. The boy, maybe 15, stammered. I wanted to ask Mr. Trump a question, but I'm scared." Jonathan crouched. "What's the question?" The boy whispered. "My dad lost his job. I just wanted to know if things will ever get better." Jonathan's throat tightened. He guided the boy to the suite and knocked. Trump answered, eyes tired but kind. When the boy explained, Trump crouched to meet him eye to eye. For 10 minutes, the president spoke not like a politician, but like a father, reassuring him that hope was real. Jonathan walked away with tears in his eyes. The next morning, Melania joined the staff in the kitchen. At first, they froze the First Lady, tying on an apron. "I want to help," she said simply. She poured coffee, carried trays, comforted a crying toddler. Maria whispered, astonished, "She's just like us." Jonathan nodded. "That's the point." By midday, laughter filled the dining hall, not because of status, but because barriers had dissolved. As checkout neared, Jonathan found an envelope slipped under his door. Inside was a handwritten note. "Jonathan, you gave us something priceless, a chance to breathe, to listen, to remember who we are. This hotel is more than walls. It's a sanctuary of humanity." "Thank you, Donald," and Melania Trump. Jonathan's hands trembled as he read "at checkout." Trump shook his hand firmly. "You run this place with heart. Don't ever lose that." Melania embraced him briefly. "This hotel feels like home. Protect it, guests."